to be doing a review on the Innova Destroyer. It is a speed 12 disc. It is my go-to distance driver. And I'm not going to just be doing a review on the Destroyer itself or the disc itself. I'm going to be doing a review on the disc and the different types of plastics on what the plastics will do for you within the disc. So I'm going to start off with the Pro Destroyer. Now this is my very beat up, awesome Pro Destroyer. It's probably one of the oldest discs in my bag. I actually found it, called the guy that owned it, and he said, you know what, you can just keep it. So with this disc, it's more of a, I'm going to throw it, it's going to come up, it's going to go to the right, and come back to the left. I can turn it over full anhyzer if I want. It's definitely a very good disc. If you don't have the strongest of arm, and you get a Pro Destroyer, just make sure you beat it in a little bit, and then it's going to kind of fly like you would want a Destroyer to fly. Otherwise, it's one of my favorite discs. This is going to be the disc that I go to first, and more or less, it's my most thrown Destroyer, is this old Pro Destroyer. And because it does S out and have a nice flight characteristic to it, I get most distance out of it. This one I'll get about 425 out of. I don't have the strongest arm, and that's like 425 is a good throw for me. So next one here is my Ecostar Destroyer. This is the newest Destroyer that I own. This disc is a nice pop top here. You can hear that. I can throw this out. It doesn't really S as much. It's gonna just kind of dump out like that. But it does throw nice and straight for a long time, and then fades back to the end. The Ecostar I found is a little more stable than the Pro, and it has more of a pop top to it and whatnot. It's a pretty nice disc. I definitely like it a lot for that. All of my Destroyers, by the way, other than the Blizzard here, are going to be 165 or over. The Pro is 167, and this Ecostar is 175, and that is why it is a little more overstable too. It doesn't beat in as quick as the Pro plastic does. I don't even have a DX Destroyer because I don't even want to see how much that breaks in, but the Ecostar is kind of my meat hook Destroyer, one that I'm going to throw that nice big anhyzer with, and it's going to probably finish, it's going to finish nicely. And I can muscle it over a little bit, kind of bring it this way, and that way, and then it'll just go nice and straight and finish. So now, I have the Avery Jenkins Pro model Star Destroyer, and this disc is kind of a straight flyer, and then just a nice finish. It's really kind of pure out bombs with this one, other than the Pro, which I throw the furthest, but I can't control as much. So this is going to be mine, the one that I want to throw nice and flat, nice and straight, and it's just going to keep on going for as long as Destroyers do. I definitely like the Avery Jenkins. It is an older disc. You know, I bought it off of a friend. He didn't really know what he had. Bought it for him for $5. He said that's how much he'll sell this brand new disc to me. And it's been one of my favorites. It's nice and straight, and then just kind of fades. Finally, I've got my really super light Innova Blizzard Champion Destroyer. This thing is 137 grams, I think, and huge anhyzers. But if you get this in the wind, it's just gonna pick up and just go, and you're not gonna have much luck with it at all. But I like these. They're nice and flexible. It's kind of weird. You can see the bubbles within the rim. Yes, we can get it to focus within there. Yeah, you can see the bubbles in the rim. That is just crazy. But I love this disc for really, really long shots. Still not my furthest flyer, but this thing you throw hyzer, it's going to flip up flat, kind of go like this, and kind of really just finish straight. It doesn't really finish with the left fade at all, which is kind of interesting because most discs do, and it's more like a, you know, the Atlas. The Atlas kind of finishes nice and straight, and this is kind of what this does. If you do overpower it though, if you do grip lock it, it's going to go a long ways in the wrong direction. So I recommend not doing that at all. And this is a kind of Blizzard plastic. I know they say it's for beginners, but I actually have a different view on it. I think it's more for experienced players that need a disc that they can flip out, ride out, or throw those nice big anhyzers, because even though I can throw an Annie with this, it's going to break out quicker than this is. So I've really found a spot in my bag. All the destroyers do have their respective spots, you know, from the hard finish, soft finish straight, long shot, S-curve, pretty much put on whatever you want, an anhyzer. And so I recommend you pick up some destroyers if you have a stronger arm, not too strong because I don't have a strong arm, but I totally recommend you getting destroyers. They are awesome discs. With the destroyer though, and a good complement to the destroyer that I found is my turn. It is also a speed 12 disc, but it's glide 6, and this bad boy is going to S out, and it's just going to glide a little longer, and I'll probably get about 30 to 40 feet longer than the destroyer, and it has a smaller rim, so it feels nicer for, you know, the women players out there. Not meaning anything bad about that, but I don't have the biggest hands, and usually neither do women, so they like a smaller rim disc. But this bad boy doesn't fly as far as my Pro because it's not as broken in, but I know that what it's going to do is going to fly nice and straight. So the turn is a good companion to the destroyer. When you don't feel comfortable throwing a destroyer, pull out your turn. You can kind of do every shot with the turn, but it's kind of a give or take thing. Do you want 4 destroyers, 1 turn? To be honest, put a turn in your bag and see what you like it with. Because if you don't like the turn, all that you lost was, you know, top $17, and you can probably sell it again for 13. You're out $4. So, not to say anything bad about the destroyers, but I know that the turn actually filled a void in my bag, and it's honestly, it's pretty much a destroyer with a little more glide. Pretty much is. It doesn't have as much fade and has a little more turn, but it's a destroyer with a little more glide. And I know somebody's gonna nail me on comments, but this is just my opinion. It's not anybody else's opinion. It's not. I'm not getting paid to say this. Obviously, I'm not a pro, so. But the turn is a good complement to the destroyers. The destroyers are my go-tos. The turns are not my go-tos. So, recommend picking up turns and 1 destroyer. Don't get DX destroyers. I've seen a lot of my friends go. They just beat it way too quick, and they're just going to end up going right. Unless you need a disc that does that, but most people get Blizzard Destroyer or something that's going to hold their integrity, go right anyway. So, thank you for watching, and subscribe.